Hey, Dirt Farmer Jay here from dirtfarmerjay.com. One of my favorite maker activities is woodworking, and recently I decided to upgrade my clamps, specifically adding some parallel clamps. Today I'm going to show you Bessey's K-Body Revo clamps. I think they're pretty doggone good, but I'm going to let you decide for yourself. Stay tuned. Hey, Dirt Farmer Jay here from dirtfarmerjay.com. I recently added these clamps to my clamp collection. Now I have all sorts of different clamps, most notably pipe clamps, and I've got, the quick acting clamps, but I wanted to make this investment of these type of parallel clamps. I looked all over, got all sorts of reviews, and what seemed to be the best overall features and quality for the price point was from Bessey. Now, these are not cheap. I ordered this set of 4 clamps from Rockler, and it came with 2 24-inch clamps, 2 40-inch clamps, and 4 riser blocks so you could cross clamp across each other without colliding. And this ran me about $230. Whew! That's quite an investment, but it is an investment if it gives you the benefits you want. So I'm going to show you those benefits, but first of all, let's go ahead and unbox it and see what you get right out of the crate. All right, the packaging, as you might suspect, is very substantial. We're going to go ahead and roll that back, and inside we have our 24-inch clamps inside their box. And let's go ahead and roll these around, and cut the tape. Let's go ahead and roll those back, nicely packed. Let's go ahead and get those out. These are our riser blocks, and you can see the placement diagrams of how you make use of those. So when you're clamping 90 degrees from each other, these allow separation of the clamps so they don't collide with each other, but they still grip the work square, flat. So these are a great little accessory you should not be without. These are substantial tools. Okay, we now have this set up to actually do a glue up. We'll not glue it up entirely. I'm just going to show you as a dry setup here. A couple observations right off with these clamps. These type of clamps allow you to simply set them on a true table surface, and the clamp is going to set upright, ready to go to work. It makes it really easy to load the clamping system also, and these jaws will stay parallel, so you're not going to get this action going. When you clamp them, it doesn't clamp as the pressure happens. They start to spread like this, causing a rainbow or a bow. These will stay straight when they're used within the specified pressure, and you're able to develop all the significant pressure you need to do a nice glue up. As long as your stock is true, it's jointed well, you can close things up very nicely. Now, notice under here that we rearranged some of these right here as lifters to keep these glued pieces of stock off of here to reduce glue dribble. Another thing you can do right here is either masking tape, saran wrap, or lay a piece of craft paper like this along the bottom and then glue everything up and then pull it out to keep your clamps clean. But you go ahead and put your items together in here, square them up. The handles, when you raise them, now they're in the adjust mode, so you can just slide forward, lower it. There you go. And now these can develop the needed pressure to really put down some level. Notice that the leveling here is really nice, but let's suppose you needed to do a little bit of leveling up and down. You can certainly take a wood block, a hammer, or you can use clamps on the joint line themselves, but you can see you can develop a really nice piece here, And then you can also use an opposing clamp. So I'm just going to raise this forward here and then bring this down to where it needs to go. And once you get it down to that, layer it and go ahead and clamp it in. And now you have the opposing side what you need. This is a very solid assembly. A couple of initial observations. Number one, these clamps are not light. The longer the clamp, the heavier it is, the more room it takes, and it's just heavier to handle. So you don't want tons of these unless you're going to do large panels, large glue ups. I could see right away that I could see myself investing in a couple more of these 24s, maybe a couple 36s, who knows, maybe 4 if I can work the budget out correctly. And then you need a good clamp hanger system to put these in here. As far as what you can expect from brand to brand, in all fairness, I've had a lot of people ask, where are these made? Are they made in the US? Are they made offshore? And it's really hard to get a clear answer. As far as I can tell, none of these clamps are made entirely in the United States. I don't care if they're Irwin, if they're DeWalt's, if they're Pony Jorgensen, or if they're Bessie. The box that these came in said assembled in the United States from Global Components. The riser blocks over here said made in PRC, which is shorthand for People's Republic of China. So these are all things you have to think about and say whether or not it's worth it or not. One of the things I really like about these kind of clamps is that you don't need to have some kind of bar that's got slots cut in it to make these stand up. They sit on a flat table automatically because of the way both the ends are as well as the pads and the stationary end on the clamp. It'll all stand up and you can just load wood into it after you've glued everything up, clamp it down, let it set for the appropriate time, undo it, and pay and play again. So it's really, really nice that way. Now, there's another feature or another accessory that I decided to buy with this, and these are riser blocks. And what these riser blocks do, notice that if you look one way, the slots are deep. They go all the way to the bottom. If I go to the side, they're shallow. See there? Shallow, deep. That means if a bar is set in that side, it's going to go down deep. If it's set this way, it's going to go shallow. And by setting 4 of these around, let's say, a raised panel where you're doing a frame and style or a rail and style type of framework or cabinet door, you literally can set up 2 clamps going one direction, 2 clamps going 90 degrees to it, and clamp the whole door up and let it set for your 30 minutes for typical types of PVA glue, and then move on to the next one. So these clamps bases are really handy, and they also have a removable base on them that allows you to screw them to a table if you wanted to fix these into a given position for a clamping station where you had several assemblies of the same kind. Let's say several cabinet doors or something like that, or perhaps cutting boards, something that is going to be similar over and over again. Really handy. Well, we think this is a really good clamping system, and it is an investment, but an investment pays off in the long range. Another task that you probably do around your shop is gluing up cabinet boxes or carcasses for large pieces of furniture. And when you do that, you've got to glue up a lot of corners all at once. Check out this video where we show you a great product we found from Rockler that'll help you. And here's another video that YouTube thinks you're really gonna love. Hey, thanks for tuning in today.